Morning. I just did a huge push in my business to get more women inside of the takeover. And I do have a cap on that room because it's intimate and because I do give so much time and attention to my mastermind. I don't ever plan on having more than 30 women in that space. Having said that, I want to talk about this huge push and also train you on some things that I see in all women who are coming into this space, knowing that their goal is to strengthen their personal brand. So first of all, I am very much a content coach. I love business strategy. I love, talking like product suite development. I love looking at offers. I love curriculum development, but at its core, I'm a content coach because in my opinion, everything always comes back to content. And having said that, if you're listening and you're hearing that and you're thinking, okay, well, I need to go find a content strategy then, because if everything comes back to content, then I need to make my content better. That is where I would say slow your roll. Content is only going to get better the more that you get better as a woman, as a coach, as a leader, as a guru, as an expert at your craft. You have to work on yourself for your content to also increase. The disconnect that I see all the time is a lot of the women that come into my space, they're obsessed with personal development. Like they really are. Like I'm obsessed with personal development. So it's very clear that I attract the woman who feeds off of momentum of personal growth. Like she loves to make a lot of money. She wants to make a lot of money. She wants to build this empire. She is a badass. But at the end of the day, she feels most proud when she's grown as a woman. All of that to say, the disconnect is her growth is not infused into her content. Like the power that she has behind the scenes, the power that she has in these virtual rooms, like she knows that if someone were to get on a call with her, or if she's leading like a group call, a group training, the energy is like 12 out of 10. Like she can convert anyone when they get on a call with her because her energy is that big. People feel her power. Yet when it comes to her content, that power, that energy doesn't translate over. So I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that. It's going to feel so simple and it shouldn't feel hard. Like that's the thing is this shouldn't feel hard, but you should also keep in mind that there is always room to grow. There is always room to improve. There's never a finish line to your content, especially with the ever-changing world of social media. But that's not to say like your goal is to keep up. Like your goal is to become a badass version of you and then put it into your content. And I'm telling you that sells. That sells over and over and over again. It's the same as like when you have an idea of an offer that you want to launch. And I see this all the time. You will tap into some creativity, and creativity comes from stretching yourself. Creativity comes from being able to clear your mind. Creativity comes from not sitting behind a desk and working in your Google Doc, but actually going and living your life. When you have creativity and you have these open pathways and you think to yourself, I just came up with an idea for an offer or a program or experience, and it feels like a full body, hell yes, I want to put it out into the world. I see this all the time. And then you hesitate and you think to yourself, well, I need to warm up my audience. I need to perfect my messaging in my sales page. I need to make sure I have a funnel. I need to get emails. I need to do this. I need to do that, and blah, 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 blah. And you haven't even sold the offer yet. When you put all of that before actually taking action, you're delaying your success. So you have this creativity, you come up with this offer, make moves. Okay, that's number one. Like, you should not be wasting time implementing. You should literally just you have an idea, it hits you, it drops in, go take action, go invite people. Even if it doesn't feel like you have the perfect strategy, people are not going to pay you because you had the perfect strategy of content lined up prior to the invite. Like people hire you because you are convicted and you are obsessed with what you're talking about, and you showcase your power in a way that is not feeling like you're having to prove everyone like, oh, cool, like I'm powerful. But instead, you're coming from a place of like, this is what I believe. This is the hill that I will die on. This is what I stand for, and take it or leave it. This is how I feel. So that is lesson number one. Now, when it comes to your content, when you want your fierceness, your badassery, when you want your power to be translated and transferred through your marketing, through your content, and when I say content, I say this all the time, I'm talking feed content on your Instagram. I'm talking your stories. I'm talking when you go live. I'm talking your emails. I'm talking your opt-in pages. Content is everything. When you want your power to translate, here's what I want you to think. Specific to feed content, your visuals, like go do an audit as soon as we hang up here. Your visuals of your feed content, they translate, they speak the currency or the language of your personality. Your personality is multifaceted. Your power and your passions are complex. There's not one angle to your personality. So you don't get to just be serious. You don't get to just be silly. You don't get to just be happy. You don't get to just be sad and like talking about your struggles. You get to be all of it. And the way that you translate that is not through copy and messaging. It's not. It's really not. The way that you translate your personality and your energy is through the visuals of when people find you, they're like, I feel her. You're jumping off the screen to them. They connect with you immediately before ever reading your messaging. That is why I've gotten to this point in my business where I post dance videos. I post yoga videos. I post me in my outfits. I post me crying sometimes. The visuals that I put out there reflect who I am, even if there's no words tied to them. I don't have to convince anybody of who I am. You can go scroll my feed. You know exactly what my personality represents. It gets better when we're live. It gets better. It's amplified. But I'm not holding back just because things might not make sense. You might look at a business mentor or a content coach and think why is she dancing? That makes no sense. If she's talking about marketing, dancing is not appropriate. You might look and be like, well, why is she in her outfits and playing dress up? And I would say, because this is my brand and my personal brand represents my personal power, and those things make me feel powerful. What makes you feel powerful? So the visual represents your personality, okay? When we get to the messaging, here's another thing I see all the freaking time. All of us, myself included, I've been where you are completely overthinking and overanalyzing your messaging. You are like, what's the hook gonna be? And you're like, okay, well, what can I put in my caption? What's the call to action? How can I tell this in a way that's gonna be intriguing and persuasive and captivating? You ask yourself those questions before you ever just think to yourself, what's the story I need to tell today? What's the story behind what I want to say? So for example, let's say you're a weight loss coach, and right now it's we're tapping into winter arc, or there's another one that's really popular right now. I forget what it's called, but last year winter arc was the thing, and all these fitness coaches, all of these weight loss coaches came out of the woodworks and they were like, I have a winter arc program. Okay. Now here's where this gets interesting. Your visual representing your energy, your personality is great. Okay, you're doing a great job there. You show yourself in the gym, you show yourself in the kitchen, you're a weight loss coach, so you're embodying all of that. You also show yourself having energy, you're on walks, you play with your kids, you do all of that. Now your messaging is the story behind why the winter arc would be important for you first and foremost. Was there a time in your life when you embodied the winter arc, when you decided a full quarter of my life, I'm going to go after it, and here's the things that I did, and here's why it changed my life? Are you telling that story, or are you just simply saying, you need to join the winter arc? Here's what you can expect. Here is what you're going to do inside of my world. Here is what you are doing wrong. People aren't listening. People aren't listening. They don't see themselves in that because it's not clocking to them. It's just not. So when you come from a place of telling a story, and I mean everything that you hear me saying, I could be telling stories as well, because I used to do that too. I used to come from a place of well, you need to tell stories in your content. You need to tell stories. But here's the thing. When I started telling stories, when I led every single call, yesterday I went live, for example, and I told a personal story. That's how I queued up the live. And I dropped a hint of what's coming in this live, and I had DMs on DMs on DMs after this live, you guys. I barely sold. I barely talked about the offer, but I invited people in because I opened up my heart and I told a story around what I wanted to actually invite you into. So I want to give that to you. So 2 things to remember, actually 3 things. Number 1, when you have an idea, stop wasting time, take action. I'm going to actually make a post about that today. Number 2, I just dropped in, I'm like, I want to create a post about that. I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. It's done. It's over. I don't care if I get it right or wrong. That doesn't exist. I'm going to make this the best post that I've ever made, and I'm going to rise to that occasion, period. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, your visuals and your content should be representing your energy, your personality, the multifaceted angles of who you are. It should be very captivating. And then number 3, the messaging that you use, whether it's a hook in your caption, I don't care where it is, it's a story. You're telling a story. That way you're not shoving yourself into like, well, I got to hit this point and I got to talk about this and I got to do that. And here's the framework and here's the blueprint and I'm sticking myself in there and I have no room to breathe and there's no creativity. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. Okay. So I leave you with that training, some thoughts to think about. And I also just want to send you a little invite. If you're like, oh, well, I wonder what's coming, because I do have this crazy offer that's coming where if you're like, I actually don't know where my creativity is. Like it's lost. Like I don't know what my power is. I don't even know what my energy is. Like I am so stuck in searching for answers outside of myself. I'm so stuck in trying to download all the free hook guides and all the content templates and all the things. Like I have no idea what's actually on my heart. And even worse, I have no idea how to put that into my content. If that's you, I'm about to do something that is I'm pretty sure has never been done in the industry of like content coaching and business mentorship. That's all I'm going to say. If that excites you and you want to learn more, you can slide into my DMs and I will give you all the details. Nonetheless, I can't wait to see what you create with those 3 things that I just gave you. I love you so much. Make it a good Wednesday and I'll see you soon.